KTU Cares, a salute to local heroes.
What kind of world do you want? Think anything. History starts now.
Now also in the studio with us this morning for KTU Cares, such a really, really great person. We go back a long time, and one of my great friends and dear friends through all these years, Kristine W is in the house.
Yay! Whoa!
Hey, Kristine,
we're together
how are
again,
you?
baby. We're together again.
I know, we are together, and it's exciting stuff because I got to tell you, a lot of stuff has been going on
Yes.
that you are so incredibly aware of, and you make statements about over the last month and a half or so, and we're going to get into that in a second, not only for what happened in Orlando in the month of June, but some of the great things that you've been doing throughout the community over the last couple of months and several years.
Yeah.
So before we get into that, tell everybody, all the KTU listeners that might not be familiar with you, but I don't know who wouldn't be, but there are probably a few people. You always get new friends and new fans.
We always want new friends.
Tell
we
us
love
about
that.
Kristine W. growing up out west and how you got to where you are now.
All right. I grew up in a small farm community called Tri-Cities, Washington. My mom was a club singer. She performed with her 12-string guitar, and she had 4 little kids. She was a single mom, very, very tough woman, and she stayed locally there. She could have probably gone big time, but she wanted to make sure that we stayed near our grandparents because my father had passed away suddenly when he was very young. So she's my hero, one of my heroes. And it was a great environment because I was exposed to a lot of different types of music and a lot of different types of people. And early on, I sang in the church choir, grew up in that, so I got that gospel influence, and moved into jazz. I was obsessed with jazz. My mom performed with a guy called Fred Grazzini that toured with Dizzy Gillespie and a bunch of jazz artists, so studied with him doing jazz and hip-hop. So I think my music is fused and flavored with a lot of different influences, including country, because my mom sang a lot of country as well. So it's a mix here. It's a remix in my head.
Wow.
Of everything.
And 16 number one Billboard.
Here we are, 16 number one Billboard dance hits later, right?
I love it. I love it. Maybe listeners, if you wouldn't mind, go over some of the biggest titles that they know Kristine W for, some of the biggest songs, and also ways that they can hear not only their music from back in the day, but also your current music.
Yeah. Well, this one, you just feel what you want it to be, what you want it to feel, what you want it to be. That was a house anthem that hit in probably 1995. That was my first big hit. And I recorded that song actually over in London, and the whole album over in London. And I was so shocked when it was a ginormous global anthem. It seemed like it happened overnight, but I guess it kind of went in the underground of London and grew and came over here and was championed by the clubs in New York City and taken out into the rest of the planet.
Absolutely, yes.
So that was my introduction into dance. And then one more try. That one was more of a radio smash, and KTU played that, and everybody else did. Mm-hmm. So that was my big radio smash. And then Alive, 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 Alive in the Land of the Living became an anthem for a lot of people that were living with AIDS, because a lot of people died from AIDS in the past, and that was right at the time, 1998, 1999, when people were realizing that they could survive. And so I'm glad to be alive and in the land of the living took on a whole different meaning to a lot of different people. So I'm very proud of that. It was a hopeful song at a time when people were given hope.
And the word inspiration goes synonymous with the name Kristine W, I must say. You have quite an inspiring story about yourself also.
Yeah. Well, the interesting part about that was it was devastating. Obviously, I was diagnosed with leukemia in 2001 on Mother's Day, and I had 2 babies at the time. I had a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, and it was the most frightening thing that I'd ever heard. And I only had like a 30% chance of making it, even with a stem cell transplant, which at that time was very experimental. So I was taken to UCLA, and Mary Torito at UCLA was my doctor, thank goodness, amazing. And I basically lived at UCLA for a year in a hospital room, and it was tough stuff. And so I had a stem cell transplant, and it worked. And I had my stem cell transplant on 9/11, which is it was very traumatic. So we survived a lot. I've been there a lot. So I can empathize with a lot of people going through hard times because we've done it. You know, a lot of people can talk it, but when you've walked the walk, when you've done it. And so I can relate to my audiences that, you know, my different fans that are, you know, HIV positive because their immune system's compromised, and mine forever is compromised as well. So I do all the things I can to keep myself healthy But, you know, like all of us, we just have to do the best we can with the cards we're dealt. And that's, you know, and keep happy and keep dancing.
Yeah,
Stay positive.
Stay positive.
It's huge.
Yes, absolutely. Now your travel was also constricted, too, while you were dealing with it, right?
Completely. And that was traumatizing to me because I was somebody who was always jumping on the airplane and going to do a show. So it was funny. Me and Mary Tarita, my doctor, I was always saying, when is my blood count going to be good enough that I can fly again? And so out of that experience in the hospital and with everything, I made an album literally there. I wrote an album there called Fly Again.
Yes.
So when I got out, I recorded it, and Tommy Boy put it out.
Yep.
So music has just been this template. It's been my way of getting through life and helping other people through life.
You know, throughout the month of June and pretty much throughout the summer, a lot of Pride events have gone on, and you've been a part of a lot of them throughout your career, and especially this year. Maybe name some of the cities that you have been to, and some of the things that you've done during these Pride events.
Well, I always felt like when Land of the Living, that whole album blew up, and I had such a really faithful and loyal gay following, I just really decided at that point in time, even though the record labels were telling me that it was career suicide to be a gay icon and that nobody would really take you seriously. The times have completely changed since then, but at that time it was a really scary thing, and I'm just glad that I went head first into the headwinds, and I never looked back. And I just saw that there was a need for more straight people to talk about what was really going on and to support the gay community and to understand, you know, their struggles. So I've performed at so many prides I don't even know at this point, and I've done New York Pride I think at least 3 times. I think my mom actually jumped in the Pride parade in the truck and followed it all the way down with me one year.
That is awesome.
Yeah, she's amazing. And this coming up, I just did Rhode Island Pride, San Antonio, Rochester, and Palm Springs, and on and on it goes. And it's just a great time. It makes me happy to be able to be there and just support the community and see everybody come together, because it's at one time out of the year when everybody comes together and they feel the energy and the love and the sense of community that's so important, and they need that more than ever now.
And the inspiration that you provide to everybody, too. Kristine W is here in the studio with myself, Bartel. We're at KTU Cares this weekend. And what I want to turn to now is, before we have a few more minutes to wrap up, we do want to talk about your song and stuff that's coming up. But probably the one thing I want to address is what happened in June in Orlando. Sure. And I know how strongly you feel not only about the community, but just life in general and the precious nature of it. I mean, when you and I hang out, we talk about everything under the umbrella of life. We do talk about
everything. It's
everything.
Crazy.
And so not only it's just a huge thing of a huge loss, not only to a community, but just for lives in general. Spend some time a little bit talking about what happened. Exactly.
I think we got to move forward with, be proactive in a lot of different ways. But I think the incident hit me so hard because I was right there at the final day, the final party, final day, Sunday, June 5th of Gay Days. Mm-hmm. So we were all there, like many people, 40,000 people were there for Gay Days. And then the next weekend it happened. So I'd literally gotten home on Wednesday or Thursday. I can't even remember now. It's all a blur. And then it happened that weekend. And I've played Pulse nightclub at least twice, maybe 3 times. I was looking into my files. Last time I was there was 2008. And it was so funny. We were just talking about how much fun Pulse is when we were there. And it's very raw, and you feel very, very heavy. Everybody cried. My first rehearsal back with the dancers was really tough. Everybody's got different gifts, and we just do what we can with the gifts that we're given. And my gift was music, but everybody's got different gifts, and just figure out a way how you can get out there. No, there's that word again, out there.
Yep.
How you can get out there and help and be part of bringing joy to the world, bringing happiness. We've got to eradicate hate. It's too strong, and we've got to be stronger. So we've got to get out there and get together, and we're stronger together. So anything that you can do to be a light out there, just do it.
And we know there's going to be a lot of events in Orlando. There have been already. I'm sure you're going to post and repost things so people can check out your socials. And what can they do? You got a new website. Where can they find you, not only for music reasons, but also, more importantly, ways to support the community?
Well, there's so many things that we're involved with, and Trevor Project for teen suicide. I mean, there's a lot of different organizations. HRC, Human Rights Campaign, I've been active and performed many times for them. Broadway Bears is a great organization. There's so many organizations that do great things. And just check in, because on the website, we're always posting about different things that are happening. There's going to be a benefit in Orlando, benefit concert with different artists. That's going to be coming up. I'm going to be there with other artists, and we're going to do what we can there to bring some happiness and raise some money and help out the families. And
your website and any kind of other socials that you want to plug in case people want to check out the...
Yeah, KristineW.com. Just go there and check it out. I've got an amazing team of people. They're full of love and great ideas, and I'm very blessed. I've got great friends. I've got great fans. I'm a very lucky person. So I am because they are with me.
I am because they are.
I am because they are.
Seriously, yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's the saying, isn't it?
You've got new music. So before we play your new song, tell us what got you moving with this new project.
Well, that phrase "out there" just kept popping up over and over again, and it just seemed like it was some universal theme that was out there in the planet and that needed to be said. People are going through transitions; they're finding their paths. I'm trying to get this project out there. I'm trying to see if there's somebody out there for me. I'm trying to see if this path, this job I'm in, I'm trying to find my purpose. Is it out there? There's just a theme, a running theme that was happening.
There,
so
yeah.
I thought, I'm going to call the single that, and I'm going to call the album "Out There," because it's really been a challenge putting this album together and getting it out there. So it's an amazing album. I'm really proud of this album. It took me, 3-4 years. So every time I release an album, I start work on the next one, and New and Number Ones was out in 2012, and that's the last time that I was here in the studio. So it makes me feel good to be here, back with the KTU family, back with you, Bartel, and everyone.
Great to have you here, as always. Good stuff. Okay, again, one more time where people can check you out.
KristineW.com.
It's been great visiting with you this morning on KTU Cares. Thanks so much,
I love
Kristine.
you, Bartel.
Love you back, Kristine.